What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the WARFRAME video. So, we got a new synergy for Garuda today, one of my most played and favorite frames. We're also just going to talk about this new arcane from Zariman that is just basically made for Garuda. And we're going to talk about, some new Helminth possibilities open up to Garuda with this new arcane, and some synergies you can maybe look for in the future. But before we get into it, make sure you sub to the channel and all that. Make sure to the live channel as well. We will be live streaming later tonight. Lots of WARFRAME. I've been having a lot of fun playing WARFRAME the last couple days, so I'm going to just do that a lot. But I did not have fun playing Phoenix Point, so I uninstalled that. Alright, so the arcane we're going over today for big synergy with Garuda and opening up possibilities is actually an arcane I talked about in my How to Play Korra video from a couple weeks ago. It's called MOLT RECONSTRUCT. Now, how this one works is basically when you cast an ability, you will heal depending on how much energy that ability costs to cast. So, for example, the fourth abilities in this game usually cost 100 energy. With a maxed out MOLT RECONSTRUCT, it's 6 health per energy point spent. So with neutral efficiency, that would be 600 healing for yourself and allies in the area by casting your 4. And if you are using your 1, it would be less than that, but it will still be a heal. The reason this is very good on Garuda is because Garuda is basically a frame that needs lifesteal or healing in some way, because the way her third ability works, you slice some of your health off and you get energy back. As you can see, I'm at 231, I sacrifice some of my health, I go up to 437. But that ability right there has no energy cost, so we're not getting health back instantly from doing that. But if we cast any other ability, for example, we cast our fourth ability, an entire full heal on an Umbra build, we've recovered over 1,000 health by casting our 4 there. We can cast 3 to get energy for our 4 again. Basically an endless cycle of casting energy, and you can cast other abilities too. So, for example, I put Eclipse on here. Eclipse is about a 450 heal. That's for your allies as well. So, very nice stuff, and the other good thing is Garuda doesn't usually use Arcane Energize, so she does have the arcane slots available to her. So for example on here, I've got Combat Discipline, Avenger set up for getting extra crit chance. I've got MOLT RECONSTRUCT, heal yourself and allies within affinity range for every cast. Now the way this works, I'm going to show you some Steel Path gameplay here to show you how effective it can be. This can be very nice because if you look at my normal builds on Garuda that I usually rock, I've got Gloom on here, which gives lifesteal. I'm not saying this is replacing Gloom at all. It's not. But I'd say it's an alternative to Gloom if you want to go for some type of different Helminth. The CC that Gloom provides and the healing is very, very nice for Garuda. It's better than Blood Altar, just straight up. But you don't need to run this technically if you want to go for another healing source. This build right here is another build with Gloom on it. It's so good for Garuda. It's just perfect for Garuda. Now this build right here was not meant for healing. It's meant to just camp, basically. I've been using Magus Repair on this one. It's just more of a for fun build. But if you look at this one right here, this is another build. Nourish from Grendel, another healing ability. Garuda wants healing from somewhere because of her 3 really badly. And Better Valkyrie is just a meme name. So now that we can just make any ability heal us on cast, we can go for things like Eclipse. Even more damage on our abilities. Since we've got Blind Rage, it increases the energy cost of our abilities because we've got negative efficiency. So that means we're healing even more. Our fourth ability goes to 155 energy costs, and an entirely full heal on an Umbra build modding for health. Now, of course, if you weren't modding for health, you wouldn't really need to go for Blind Rage. You also don't need to go for Blind Rage at all here. Blind Rage actually diminishes how much energy you get back from her 3, but I was just using it because it felt pretty good, actually. I technically could just take that off for some less power strength and, have some more convenience here. Never will have a problem casting abilities, but our healing from our 4 will be lower, so... Also keep in mind, when you're casting Garuda's 4, you are invincible at the beginning of the cast. So, let's say I get the low health, and then the enemy just breaks my shield getting, I cast my 4, I'm invincible, and then fully healed instantly. So, that's a nice little synergy you can go for there. Let's get some Steel Path gameplay on the screen. Not to mention, if you were running a Helminth like Eclipse, like I'm rocking on here, you're doing so much extra damage. Garuda's passive, it basically gives you double damage, but then we're jamming Eclipse on top of that as well. With this build, about a little bit over 400% extra weapon damage. The DR can also technically help if you're face tanking enemies, but yeah, you're healing back up the full so quickly that your EHP is actually pretty nice. Now, of course, this will eventually fall off. You will eventually get one shot, just because that's how every health and armor build in this game works. I really hope they do a buff to health and armor someday to make them, stand up to shield getting, because shield getting is just like, it's basically just cheese, like, honestly. The way you can spam it over and over again, it feels like cheese. It's always felt like cheese, but they haven't changed it, so we'll see if anything like that happens in the future. But yeah, armor and health, maybe like an armor gating mechanic could be nice, where it's like, oh, I have 1,200 armor. That means I get 1 armor gate. Every 1,000 armor is 1 armor gate. something like that. But yeah, overall, this is probably something I'll start using on Garuda a lot more. Now, it's not going to entirely replace the Gloom setup, but I would not recommend running this specific arcane on the Gloom setup, as your third ability has no energy cost. That's not giving you any healing from that. Gloom is pretty much covered on healing. If you're going for Gloom, go for another arcane. Like, go for like MOLT Augmented, maybe. That one where if you get a bunch of kills, you get increased power strength. That one's really good with MOLT, because, or with, not MOLT, with Gloom, because Gloom likes power strength a lot, and you can't really mod for too much power strength on Garuda without sacrificing something important. Like essential mods such as Natural Talent. If you play Garuda without Natural Talent, like, you must not play Garuda very much, because that sounds terrible. Prime Flow is good for having a big energy pool. I sometimes go for Quick Thinking. Quick Thinking could be good for this as well, with the energy and health battery we're, cycling between. I like Adaptation just because, it's a health-focused setup, and, it makes our health have more longevity, I guess. And then I've also got Rolling Guard. Rolling Guard is just so good. You can Rolling Guard while in your 4, while you're casting, you're in like vampire mode flying around. You can roll, and that will count for Rolling Guard to get rid of status procs. Don't forget, Garuda's 3 was actually buffed in her rework to remove status procs as well. So you should not have a problem with status procs here. You could probably actually take off Rolling Guard on this build. Maybe 4 Quick Thinking for another little, cushion of extra survivability and time you can be surviving if you could fit Quick Thinking on there. Maybe take Rolling Guard off for that. You could do a higher rank combat discipline if you are really confident in your healing. And it's up to you. Like, my main build is just like the laziest tank ever. We got Quick Thinking, Rolling Guard, Triple Umbra, Adaptation. I think that's basically every health mod. I think we're missing like Equilibrium. I guess that's kind of a health mod. And things like that. But yeah, overall, I would highly recommend this to you. I'm surprised I didn't think about this quicker. One of the first frames I was using MOLT Reconstruct on was Cora, just to heal her cats, because healing from, Pack Leader does not work with Whip Claw, so I was using MOLT Reconstruct to heal the cats, because I don't need Energize with my setup. But this is another frame that doesn't need Energize, Garuda, so you can, really, you have lots of options. And this one's fun, because it basically turns everything into Nourish, kind of, because Nourish has a heal on cast. Everything becomes Nourish as far as Helminth. So I'm going to go back to the Helminth chair. We can go over some Helminth options that you could maybe start thinking about on Garuda specifically because of this. And I think that she does use this arcane the best due to her sacrificing health ability. No other frame really has an ability that sacrifices health like this. So it basically just feels made for her, if you ask me. So Acolyte should not be long for this world, like 1 or 2 shots. Oh, I summoned Hoba. Okay, so you could actually even go for Total Eclipse on here to buff your teammates too. But you're not going to have that much range, so I don't know how effective it really would be. Alright, so let's go over some Helminth options you could rock on Garuda now that we don't need to only be running healing abilities. So I'm looking for things that don't need too much range, and preferably go for a good amount of strength, and don't really need much base stats-wise. So you could go for Zata's Whisper, giving us void damage buff, also some cheesy interactions with certain weapons. You could run that. The funny thing is, Garuda doesn't even need a damage boost, really, because of her passive, but we could just go for it anyway. I would not recommend Warcry, as it's not recastable, so you won't be able to get your heal on demand from this, so not Warcry. We'll just skip over a bunch of them. Thermal Sunder might be kind of fun to heat procs of enemies. Silence? No, you can't recast Silence. I'm looking for recastable abilities here. You could maybe even go and fit Seeking Shuriken on the build and Armor Strip with Garuda's 4, or not with Garuda's 4, but find a way. This will become a healing ability. This will heal you for about a couple hundred per cast, and this is a fast cast, so maybe Seeking Shuriken could actually find a place with Garuda, even though she does deal mostly slash damage. Sentient Wrath is decent for another extra debuff, but it's a little bit slow of an ability, so I don't know if I'd really go for that one. It's technically recastable. You have to wait until the energy wave reaches the end of its points. Reeve is always good, especially with Garuda's 4. It should slash proc enemies up really quickly, but it's just an awkward ability to use, so I don't tend to use that one. Lots of choices here, guys. Really, it's up to you. Something like Ensnare could definitely be good, as it becomes a healing ability now. Why not? Energize Munitions. Really up to you. Breach Surge is disgusting too. Hey, you know what? People were saying oh, this Breach Surge Garuda build is so good, but she wants healing really bad. Playstyle unlocked. Now this will heal you on cast. The Garuda Breach Surge setup that people were talking about when Helminth first came out, this is just what it needed to actually be a thing. So if you don't want to run Eclipse, go for Breach Surge. With her 4, it's technically infinite damage, kind of. So, yeah, rock that if you want to. Condemn's also good for giving you shields back, and it will give you health back, too. Remember, this also heals your teammates, so it's not just all about you. You're going to heal your allies as well. So, really, really fun, really, really good. And, yeah, I'll see you guys later tonight on Twitch. Hopefully you found the video helpful, and more videos throughout the week. Take it easy. Peace.